Okay, I'll call to order the regular meeting of the Otero County Board of Commissioners. Any public comment? No public comment. We have the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
And I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. No old business. Under new business, Resolution 2022-11, opposing Presidential Order 14008. Amy.
So I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. I forgot my water, so if I stutter and spew, you know why. And also, before I wanted to start, I'm gonna give a quick Cliff Notes version. This you probably hear more about 30 by 30 than you do Presidential Order 14008, and the whole premise, I think, from the commissioners is, you can sell your land if you'd like and you privately own it, but if they're not agreeable to the government overtaking that land. So that kind of puts it in a nutshell for me, but I would like to read the resolution if that's okay.
Sure.
Well, thanks. Whereas Otero County is a legal and political subdivision of the state of Colorado for which the Board of County Commissioners is authorized to act. Whereas Otero County contains about 687,530 acres of farm and ranch land situated in southeastern Colorado. Whereas approximately 29%, or 199,000 acres of land within the county is owned or managed either by the Bureau of Land Management, Colorado State Trust, or the USDA Forest Service. And whereas public land ownership in Colorado in the year of 2019 was 39.86% of the state, not including CRP lands. Public land ownership, including CRP lands in 2019, was 35.77% of all lands within the United States. Whereas conserving lands does not assure its preservation, left in an undisturbed or natural state, these lands are highly susceptible to wildfires, insect infestation, and disease, all of which degrades the natural and human environments. And whereas the well-being, health, safety, welfare, economic condition, and culture of the county, its businesses, and its citizens depend on private land ownership and the use of these lands. And whereas many of Otero County's businesses and citizens are involved in or otherwise depend on commerce that utilizes private lands and their resources, including crop production, livestock grazing, and outdoor activities such as hiking, biking, hunting, fishing, and other recreational activities. Whereas the commerce is an important component of the Colorado economy, feeds the nation, and is a major contributor to the economic and social well-being of Otero County and its citizens. And whereas in 1960, Congress already designated 443,784 acres in the Comanche National Grasslands, with 186,510 acres located in Otero County. And whereas in January 27th, 2021, President Joseph R. Biden Jr. issued Executive Order 14008 entitled Tackling the Climate Crisis at Home and Abroad. And whereas in Section 216 of Executive Order 14008, President Biden directed the Secretary of the Interior, in consultation with the Secretary of Agriculture and other senior officials, to develop a program to conserve at least 30% of the lands and waters in the United States by 2030, which is called the 30 by 30 program. And whereas under the 30 by 30 program, some 680 million acres of our nation's lands would be set aside through conservation, preventing the productive use of these lands and resources. And whereas there's no constitutional or statutory authority afforded to any president, the Department of Interior, Department of Agriculture, or any other federal agency to set aside and permanently conserve 30% of all land and water in the United States. and no such authority is referenced in the Executive Order 14008. And whereas placing private lands into permanent conservation status would cause a dramatic and irreversible harm to the economies of many states, including Colorado, and in particular rural counties such as Otero County, whose citizens depend on private lands for their livelihoods and recreation. And whereas Executive Order 14008 directs the Secretary of Interior in consultation with the other relevant federal agencies to submit a report to the task force within 90 days of the date of this order, recommending steps the United States should take, working with state, local, tribal, and territorial governments, agricultural and forest landowners, fishermen, and other key stakeholders to achieve the goal of conserving at least 30% of our lands and waters by 2030. Now, therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Otero County, Colorado, that the board opposes the 30 by 30 program, including its objective of permanently conserving 30% of the nation's lands and water in its natural state by 2030, or any similar program that will set aside and prevent the productive use of millions of acres of our lands. The board further opposes the designation of lands in Otero County as wilderness study areas, wildlife preserves, open space, or other conserved lands, thereby restricting public access to such lands and preventing the development and productive use of the resources on or within such lands. The board supports the continued private ownership of land in the county, recognizing the nation's need for domestic sources of minerals, energy, timber, food, fiber, and recreation. The board recognizes and supports the state of Colorado's private water system, including the state of Colorado statutes and regulations and programs governing water rights and water use, and opposes any federal designation of water and water courses within the state and county that would impair or restrict water diversions and uses authorized under Colorado law. The board supports reasonable national, regional, and global greenhouse emission policies and goals that are comprehensive, practical, cost-effective, non-draconian, and do not unnecessarily single out specific industries or activities, but opposes the use of global climate change as its reason to set aside large tracts of land as conservation lands to fulfill the 30 by 30 program's objectives. The board also maintains that any lands or other rights that are required to fulfill the 30 by 30 program's objectives should be acquired only from willing landowners and for the payment of full and fair market value for all rights and interests acquired, and not through eminent domain or any other regulatory compulsion, and only after analyzing and considering the impacts of such land acquisitions on the well-being, health, safety, welfare, economy, and culture of Otero County, its businesses, and its citizens.
Thank you
Atta
very
girl.
much.
Good
That's
job.
a mouthful.
Good job.
Okay, are there any questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve the resolution 2022-11 opposing the presidential order 14008.
And I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Amy, you're right back at it.
I am.
With Senate Bill 22-153, Election Security Equipment Grant Application. If you would, please.
Thank you. And I'm actually making this request on behalf of Lynn Scott. As you recall, Senate Bill 22-153 was related to county elections and the security requirements that fall under the elections and making sure everything's secure. Anyway, and in that bill, there was also a fiscal note to assist counties like ours with some expensive additions to our security. Thankfully, the state will award Otero County $12,500 towards this project. Lynn is planning on spending the money to increase key access to election areas, as well as beef up our video surveillance. So we'll get working on this and get the application in. This is a reimbursable grant, so once we have the application approved and sign the contract, Glenn can move forward with purchasing these items and having them installed, and then we will ask for reimbursement.
Excellent. Any questions? Yes, sir.
What does key access to election areas mean?
Yes, like all of our other doors, we have key card access. We'll be adding some of those to some other doors.
Oh, for people who are in charge of making sure the election runs, it's for those people that can access.
Right. I'm sure Lynn probably has a list of people that can only access some equipment, and so they will only have access to that. Not everyone with a key can have access to that. We can designate specific doors per keys.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Any other questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve the election security equipment grant application for $12,500.
And I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The 2023 preliminary budget. Amy?
You bet. Today I would like to present the preliminary budget that we finished up last week. It will be provided on our website. It's pretty big, so that's why we didn't print those on the packet. So anyone is welcome to go to our website and check out the budget. It's really pretty. It was, yeah. So I would like to present that budget to you. Includes 100% of our funds.
Good job.
Thank you.
Questions? Okay. Do we need to accept that preliminary budget? I suppose we do.
I moved it around a few times. So I was like,
Yeah.
well, do you accept it or not? And then I went ahead
I
and
don't
put it
know.
into new business to accept it because
Yeah,
it
let's
doesn't
do it.
hurt,
Okay.
right?
Right.
That's right.
I move to approve the 2023 preliminary budget.
And I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Departmental reports. What's going on in the clerk's office?
Nothing.
Nothing, huh? Nothing.
Ballots will be going out the weekend, October 17th. That's about all the
Okay.
excitement.
Wait for my name.
Okie dokie. Amy,
I think everything that I've worked on the last couple of weeks, I just told you about.
mhm,
So things are going well.
mhm. There she is.
There she is.
Perfect.
Sorry, I got tied up.
All right. I'm glad somebody untied you.
Oh, you're already ready for
You're
me?
ready.
You're up.
I am so sorry.
Timing is good.
Perfect timing.
Your timing is good.
Okay, so I'm presenting the third quarter public trustee report.
Okay,
We have 56 manual, 107 electronic. It's a total of 163, which is down about 11 from the second quarter. New foreclosures, we only had 8. That's down a little bit. But other than that, we brought in a total of $1,188.59 for the quarter.
okay. Pretty self-explanatory there, right?
Yes.
All righty.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Hope it was worth the trip down.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and I'm sorry that I was late.
All right, you weren't.
Boy, you were
right on time.
I was right on time.
Yeah, good.
Well, thank you, guys.
Thank
you. John,
Well, most of the time this week has been spent on the budget, as you can tell. We're making progress on the single entry, getting closer on that. And then that's pretty much took up the week.
okay. Rob,
I'm the same as John. Our last 2 weeks have been budget, and that's no hairy legs. The budget. It's just has been all we've done the last couple of weeks, pretty much, but I think we've gotten pretty much all of it together. So Amy has. So
Yeah, Amy has.
it's good.
very good. I have nothing to add. Any further business?
No, sir.
No further business. We are adjourned.